Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'a sunnatahu ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, just a short session talking about the virtues of the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Now the month of Dhul Hijjah is one of the holiest periods of the Islamic year, and subhanAllah is a month of increased spirituality. We witness two very special events, all in devotion to Allah. Firstly, millions of Muslims across the globe usually would, during this time, undertake Hajj for the sake of Allah in the holy city of Mecca. And on the blessed day of Eid al-Adha, each and every one of us who is able to do so offers the adhiyah, the sacrifice, just as Prophet Abraham alayhi salam did in devotion to Allah. And this also is due to, or is a reason to helping vulnerable communities that are in need across the globe. Now the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, of this Islamic month in the calendar, is in fact the most sacred days of the year, loved by Allah the Almighty. During these days we're urged to reach out to Allah and to sacrifice what we have for His sake. Allah Himself tells us in the Holy Quran, "Say indeed, my prayer, my rites of sacrifice, my living, my dying are for Allah, Lord of the worlds." So by giving your zakah, if you have zakah and you haven't paid it yet, or even just giving sadaqah, voluntary charity, during the blessed month of Dhul Hijjah, especially in the first 10 days, you will benefit and reap the rewards of this month, inshallah. And as we remember, also, we should remember the struggle and dedication of the Prophet Ibrahim, and we support others who are in need when we distribute a portion of this meat to the poor and needy. Now let's look at some of the virtues of the month of Dhul Hijjah. The first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah are often referred to as the best 10 days of the year, and a second chance after Ramadan. For those of us not performing the Hajj pilgrimage, then this is still a great time of blessing and immense reward. Our hearts and prayers are with those undertaking the pilgrimage in a usual scenario. However, obviously, as we know this year, that is not the case. And there are still many ways for us to reap the blessings of this month. In Surah Al-Fajr, Allah says, وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, by the dawn and the 10 nights. And according to many scholars of the Quran, such as Ibn Abbas, etc., he mentioned that these days are meaning the 10 days, the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, and that they are significant enough for Allah to swear by them, showing their importance. So whoever cannot go to Hajj should use this blessed time to complete in even more righteous deeds than usual. These can include such things as giving charity, honouring one's parents, upholding the ties of kinship, enjoining what is good and forbidding what is evil. It is also important to enhance our obligatory acts of worship by being mindful of our prayers and ensuring we pay our zakah on time. For those of us who have not yet completed the pilgrimage of Hajj, this is an ideal time to make dua that Allah grants us the opportunity to do so. And all of these things I mentioned, of course, we should do them every day. But just like in Ramadan, we make that extra effort and we pay more attention, we should try and do so and increase in these acts of worship during these 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Also, fasting and remembrance are particularly emphasized and recommended. Fasting 9 days, and especially on the day of Arafah. It is sunnah for the Muslim to fast on the first 9 days of Dhul Hijjah, because fast is one of the best deeds. And in a hadith Qudsi, Allah says, all the deeds of the son of Adam are for him except fasting, which is for me, and I shall reward for it. Bukhari. And it is reported that the Prophet ﷺ used to first fast on the first 9 days of Dhul Hijjah and the day of Ashura, and 3 days each month, and the first Monday of the month and 2 Thursdays, as reported in Abu Dawood. So there is day of Arafah. The 10 days of Dhul Hijjah include, as we mentioned, this day of Arafah, on which Allah perfected this religion. And the Prophet ﷺ said, fasting on the day of Arafah expiates, wipes out the sins of 2 years, the past one and the coming one, reported in the collection books of Sahih Muslim. So we can see here, brothers and sisters, we should do our best to fast at least on this day of Arafah. Who wouldn't want to have their sins for the past year and the next year to be wiped out and forgiven? Also making remembrance of Allah. Our Prophet, make sure we recite a great deal of tahmeed, saying Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah, of tahleel, saying La ilaha illallah, there is no God or nothing is worthy of worship except Allah, and tasbih, saying Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. And also making the takbir that we do during that time, saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. Allah is the most great, Allah is the most great. There is nothing worthy of worship except Allah. Allah is the most great, and to Allah be praised. And the companions of the Prophet, they would go to the marketplace reciting this so loud, and people would recite after hearing them. So let us follow in their footsteps and encourage others to recite this takbir, this takbirat as well. It is an act of worship and a proclamation of the greatness of Allah. And this is just a few words. Also, as it starts tomorrow, if you're planning to make the sacrifice, then the person who's in charge of the household, for example, the father, then he should not cut his nails or hair or remove anything from the face. For example, if he was having any treatment to remove old skin, until after the sacrifice has been done on the day of Eid. And also one should do their best to make a sacrifice for this, like the Prophet Abraham did. And that's just a few small advice and notes on this first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, and we ask that Allah enables us to make the most of it. And until next time, inshallah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.